Hey besties, I'm here today to talk about what you saw in the title. Um, I'm just going to be talking about my experience of getting 3 herniated discs and how I've been healing with that and how that's been for me because oh my gosh, it has not been fun. I will also be making a bracelet throughout it because ADHD brain go burr. And I'm dog sitting right now. And I'm filming it now because this house will be nicer and more quiet than my place of residence will ever be. So, um, and if anyone, for some reason, wants to say that, hey, having 3 herniated discs is not being disabled, if you are a genuinely disabled person, then I'm not gonna argue against you. However, according to, I literally Googled it, where I live, it's considered a disability. So, there we go. Anyway, also I look like trash because why do I want to try to look good when I feel like shit? I'm not trying to impress you. You are the internet. My laptop. Yeah, also sorry for the bad quality, but you're probably just, I don't know, let's put it on the background or something if you want to listen. Okay. I'm filming this on October 2nd. Happy Halloween, happy spooky season, best time of the year. Still dealing with this, yippee! Anyway, so what happened? Let's talk about it. So start of this year, I'm 20 this year. Start of this year, I don't remember what month it was. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't catalog it. I was experiencing back pain. And I'm someone who's dealt with pain in my life. And unfortunately, a lot of my motto, especially with pain and everything, is just walk it off. I'm fine. I don't know what inspired me to become like this, but I'll just be like, pain is literally just a concept in my brain. It doesn't exist. So I'll just ignore it. And then it got worse, and it just kept being that for a while. And I was like, this sucks, but whatever. And then the pain went down my leg, my left side, particularly. And I was like, this sucks. And then I started walking like this, and this, and this. And the people in my life started noticing and being like, you need to fix yourself. And not fix, they don't word it like that, but like, something's wrong, you need to figure it out. And I put it off because capitalism, medical bills are expensive. Also, once again, philosophy, I'm fine, just walk it off. And it's nothing that I couldn't handle, right? It sucked and it affected me in my life, but I told myself it was fine, right? Whoopee. But eventually I was like, okay. So I started to get physical therapy. That was a whole thing. Get physical therapy first. If you are even considering it, if you are financially able to do so, it was awesome. Okay. I go through I'm assuming, at least where I live, a big physical therapy company. We'll just call it BMI. BMI. But they were like, hey, you need a referral. And I was like, okay, whatever. I don't have a primary care doctor. Once again, I pretend my body doesn't exist and I just live with it, right? So I had to go to my pediatrics office and be like, please, I just need a referral for physical therapy, please. And they're like, whatever, fine. And it was because at this point it was mostly just leg pain. Like just, wow. Ouchy, it was affecting how I was walking, once again, as we talked about, how I was standing, whatever. So I go to this dude, okay? And this dude, the doctor, I should clarify. And he was like, okay, so, have you taken birth control? Me being AFAB. Whole other issue with my body, but I have a very irregular period. So I have taken birth control. He's like, bestie, think you got a blood clot in your leg. And I was like, okay. He's like, you should go to the emergency room and get an ultrasound. Because, bestie, I think you got a blood clot. Okay. Go back to my car, do a quick call. I made a quick cry, and then I call my friend, and I'm like, because I wanted her to go with me, but I was too afraid to ask. And so I ended up going home, and for not wanting to explain it, basically my stepmom took me. She was very nice. And so do this whole ultrasound, wait in the ER for like a while, whatever. Not complaining to the nurses, they're hardworking, but once again, capitalism, spend so much money. Ultrasounds suck. And they did it like in my inner thigh. Horrible experience, and a man did it to me. That sounds wrong. A man. There was a woman there, but I was just very uncomfortable. I cried a little bit. I was like, I am not good with medical procedures. That's why I avoid it, right? So I spend, I don't even remember how much it was now at this point, because this was a while ago, but like hundreds of dollars. And they picked me in this room. This doctor takes me in this room and is like, okay, you don't got one. I was like, And I was like, well, there that goes. Well, don't got a blood clot. Yippee, right? So I start physical therapy at BMI. It goes fine, but eventually my brain is like, I don't feel progress. And my brain just is like, well, just stop making appointments then. What's the point? Incredible decision making. Excellent decision making. So then I did. And I paid off whatever I owed or whatever, but I just stopped going to ASMR. Start going to that other place. I'm just living my college life, my community college life. And I remember very specifically, like, I work at retail. That's not super important, but I had a day off, okay? And I was just sitting. Oh my gosh. I don't even know where my phone is, whatever. And I was just literally playing. I woke up that day and I was just in so much unbearable pain. It was just horrible. I could barely walk. If I stood up for like a second, I had to sit down. Like, it was miserable. And I was like, this is fine. And so I literally just play Cult of Lamb all day. Great game. And then that lasted another day. And it continued. I go to work one day, eventually. Not eventually, but like I think it was probably the day after Cult of Lamb. I go to work and I'm trying to stand at the cash register and I'm in so much pain. And I'm like sitting on the table like this and like leaning, right? And it was just horrible. I don't like crying in front of people. Like, if you see me cry, know I trust you. My poor girlfriend through all of this, right? And I literally was like, went to the back room, like where it's like our break room, but also like the manager's office, and like my SLTs are there, and I'm like sobbing. I'm like, oh my god, I'm in so much pain. And it was a whole thing, and they sent me home. And then I was like, we'll unpack that when we get there, but right now I'm just kind of telling the story of keep you updated where we're at. But I just felt so worthless and just horrible about myself. And I asked my aunt if I could come over, my aunts, and they're like, yeah, everything good? And I was like, yep. And I get here. So I didn't want to tell my mom because then I had to admit that ABC, right, that it's getting worse, and that's scary. One second, I want to get that out. Sorry, besties. Okay, aunt's house. And I was just in so much horrible pain. Ooh, she said lighting. Sorry, my camera quality's ass. I didn't want to record this on my laptop, meant on my phone or whatever, because I knew it was gonna be on. Anyway, so, and I went here and I just cried, and they were like, oh Lord. right? They're very sweet. Um, and that kind of was just like the moment I was like, because I've been experiencing pain for like months now, right? But this was unbearable amount of pain. Unbearable. Um, and it was not fun. Not fun at all. Like I could barely, I literally didn't even want to go downstairs to eat because that means I had to stand. I like to eat, okay? It was bad, right? And so I started doing physical therapy again at this other place, Schmodern. Great. I feel like it's helping. And my mom also sets me up with a chiropractor. I've seen a lot of internet debate recently if chiropractors are actually helpful or not. They did a lot of great stuff for pain relief for me. At least mine, it was very cool. That helped. I did like massage therapy even once because my mom works in like a medical office and she got like hooked up or whatever. But yeah, everything. And I literally had to take 2 weeks off of work. It ended up being 2 weeks, and I was like, I cannot come into work. You don't, even if I could, you don't want me there. I will just be crying and in pain, right? Like, it was so bad. Luckily, my managers were understanding, right? But yeah, eventually, like, it helps me not make it as bad, I guess, but it's still bad. And orange, yellow, green. And I guess to the point where I'm like, eventually, I kind of just get like, my mom brought it up, but I was just like, I just didn't know what was wrong with me, so I didn't know. It wasn't a blood clot, right? It wasn't a, it wasn't going away. And that's scary, right? Not only is it so debilitating, but it's also taken so much of my time, so much of my life away. Like, I had to stop going out doing stuff that I enjoyed, or I just, not that I'm like the adventurer or whatever, but I like, all I wanted to do was like not stand because standing was horrible. And even when it was really bad, I forgot, literally. Not forgot, but you know what I mean. Like, when it was really bad, like, I couldn't lay down comfortably. I couldn't sit down comfortably. I'm at the point now where as long as I'm sitting, it's not bad. But like, at that time, I literally I was just constantly in horrible pain. And oh my God, it's not fun. Would not recommend. In case you were curious. And it was just terrifying. Like, that time when it was really bad, right? I was depressed. Like not in a good mental state. We'll leave it there, right? And so eventually I'm just like, what? I just need to figure it out. So it was kind of a whole thing because I feel like I talked to my physical therapist, or main guy I went through, and I was like, can you like recommend someone? And I feel like he was like, well, you're getting better, so like, why do you need to see a doctor about it? And I was like, well, whatever. In retrospect, it was kind of weird. I was like, I just wanted an answer, right? I don't think I phrased it right, but still it was weird, right? But no, I had a great time at Schmatter, right? No complaints there. I'm just speaking my experience, right? It's great. And so eventually I get into this doctor's. Once again, can I tell you, months of no one giving me an answer, right? I was told once that it was like something was wrong with my hip joint. No, I just knew I was in pain, right? And so I get in and I go to specifically this spine place. And she just does like, my PA just does a few like, bonk, and she's like, herniated disc. These two nerves specifically are being affected by it. Oh, okay. Also, I want to acknowledge the privilege that I have before we continue. We will get more into it later, but I'm very privileged to have been able to receive this much care. Because this shit's savings. You know, I just wanted to acknowledge that. We will get more into it later if I remember. But that's important, right? Savings, right? Whatever. Dad's insurance is going crazy. I'm using it up. But yeah, she's like, I think she said like S1 nerve and 1.5 nerve. So it's like one big nerve like down my leg. And at this point, I also got an x-ray, but that didn't tell me anything. And she's like, Bestie, you need an MRI. And I was like, okay. So she's like, this is, I'm pretty sure what's going on, but you need an MRI. Can I just mention, it was literally life-changing to me. I spent there, she checked me out for like 10 minutes, and she was like, here's an answer. It was crazy. I was like, oh my God, this is so awesome, right? I finally had a name to this pain that I've been feeling. Like, it's great. If you're learning from this experience, go get checked out earlier. My brain was like, okay, I'll just do physical therapy and I'll get better, but I didn't get better, at least in my case. Get checked out if you're able to, right? Because now that I actually know what's going on, I have so many more options open to me. So I get an MRI. Worst experience of my life. Not being dramatic, right? But oh my, I was literally crying, freaking out on this thing for like 30 minutes, and it was not just because it was tight or whatever, but it was just making, I'm not good with loud noises. It was making loud noises in my ears. I don't like big medical machinery. I walk out, my girlfriend has been so lovely, right? I walk out and she's like, and she got me froyo after. And it's so insane, right? And so she's like, okay, we looked at your MRI, and yeah, bestie, you have 3 herniated discs. Oh, I have 3. Maybe I'll put up the picture if I remember, maybe I won't. But I have like one like really big one. Like for a while I kind of felt like there was like a bump in my back, but I didn't know what it was, right? And I was like, oh, and it's like a big boy. She even told me it's like one of the biggest she's seen. I don't know if the nurse was just hyping me up, but she was like, yeah, because at this point I've been through physical therapy and stuff for like months again, so I was able to walk a little bit better and stuff, but I was still experiencing pain. She was like, yeah, I've seen football players with this who couldn't walk. And I was like, that was me for a while, bestie, but luckily we've gotten better. I was like, oh, that's terrifying. She's like, yeah, also you have scoliosis. I was like, okay. Because my spine was literally like doing like an S shape. And she's like, yeah, normally they catch us earlier, but they didn't. And she's like, that's why you had it. Life-changing knowledge. Yeah, I just was born with scoliosis and I just did not get caught until now. Okay. And it's also so crazy too, because not to dismantle anyone who's like had an accident and then got messed up because of the accident, because that is so valid, bestie. Ooh. But I did nothing. I just vibed, you know? Go to work, pay my car insurance, do college, right? And I'm not trying to dismantle anyone's experiences, but knowing that it's just like, oh, yeah, you just got scoliosis, and so you're just gonna have back problems forever. Okay. Yippee! Right? Life-changing knowledge. So, if you need an MRI, oh my god. So expensive. Oh, expensive. Right? Ugh. Anyway, so now I just show the pictures to everyone, because I'm like, if I spent however much money on this, I'm at least gonna show people, right? Like, these are expensive photography I've taken. Ugh. Um, and it's just, okay. So now what do we do? Well, surgery. She said, you got a big boy. And you might need to consider surgery. Also, I think with the point you're at now, physical therapy is not going to do much for you anymore, which makes sense because that's kind of how I was feeling. Like I felt kind of stagnant physical therapy at this point because the issue isn't herniated discs and heal naturally. But particularly my big boy is so big that who knows how long it would take to heal. It could take months. It's been months, right? It could take years. I'm almost at a year, right? And oof. Okay, so we're gonna do a pain shot for you, and we're just gonna feel it out because that's normally what we do. It's just not hope because it's just basically, from what I understand, anti-inflammatory. So it'll make it a little bit easier not only for your spine to heal, but also less pain. Awesome, right? So cool and awesome. No, that wasn't genuine. Yeah, I got it. Ugh. We're almost caught up, don't worry. So I got this epidural, and it's helped a little with the pain, but not like anything. I still experience pain, but it's not as bad. So today I just had my follow-up after the epidural, and also, well, we'll get to that in a second. And then she's like, we're scheduling another one, but I'm still on October 30th. I said today was the 2nd. The day before Halloween, my favorite day of the year. Yippee. Hope it doesn't ruin my Halloween, right? The day before, I'm like meeting with a surgeon, and they're gonna be like, hey bestie, here's the tea. So we'll see if I post an update. Probably not. I don't know. I do want to start posting videos again though, because I enjoy it. But not all about this. Like, whatever. Focus. Anyway. So, yeah, and also for the epidural shot, my insurance was just like, nope. You don't gotta cover that. What? So yeah, my like doctor's office has been fighting with my insurance. She even said it to me. She said, they're evil. I've been experiencing this for months, right? Probably since the start of this year. I wish I wrote down what day, but it didn't. And they're like, yeah, you do this too quickly, actually. You should have done more physical therapy. Yeah, you need like 4 weeks of documentation. So, she said they'll probably do, insure this next one, but the other one, probably not. Yippee. Right. So, that's my experience. That's where I'm at now. Future plans referring to it. I was really thinking I would have to get surgery, and I'm still kind of there. But maybe with I'm hopeful now that maybe with another epidural, like pain will go down even more, and I could just kind of like wait it out a little bit more to see if it heals. But also, I don't remember if I specified this. I don't have a script. We're just chatting, right? Last time I was getting better, right? Oh yeah, because I was talking about physical therapy. I was like, oh, it's fine now, right? I stopped doing it, and then I got the worst. And I don't want to go through that pain again. The pain I have now, I don't want to go through, right? But like that, like, not even mentally, but physically, like it was horrible, right? I couldn't do anything. And then, yeah. Ooh, Lord. So yeah. So I might get surgery, might not. I'm just gonna feel it out with the next epidural. But another thing too is now this infects my entire life, right? I'm trying to find more opportunities for myself that let me sit down more. next year I was planning, because I'm at community college right now, I was planning on transferring to university, but I can't walk to classes. So I'm probably gonna have to do all online, which is fine. But I was excited to start going to the big campus, right? Just little things. And I used to do dance classes with my friends, can't do that anymore because it's so painful. Can't, if I go on a date with my girlfriend, we have to sit every few minutes because I'm in pain, right? It's like my body is actively trying to tear me down. And it's miserable. It is. Um, and then, um, and it's really given me a new outlook. And what I mean by that is kind of what I've acknowledged earlier. I am so privileged, not only in my skin color, my financial situation, where I live, right? Like, I'm such a privileged and lucky person. I, it's it's obviously because I try to have a soul. I've always done my best to understand the plights of disabled people, right? Like I've you know doing ASL, specifically like the deaf community. I've tried to put myself there, right? I It's made me like, it's crazy. And like when you're in it, bestie, you're in it, you know? I've never If I wasn't as privileged as I was, I would be dying on the street right now. That's this may have been like, oh wow, white woman discovers her privilege. And yeah, I've known about my privilege, but it's just like when you're put in that situation, like it's like, whoa, this is crazy. You kind of given a new layer to my life. And I talked to my mom about this, and she's like, yeah, that's why you have savings account. I was like, well, what if all right. And I just realized just how lucky I am, right? And I hope if you are someone who is like me, who's in privileged, take a moment to like really internalize how like the benefits you have. That's a part of too. Like the biggest thing for me is capitalism brain rot right now, where I'm not productive. I can't be. I'm in miserable pain when I stand up for more than however long, right? Depending on what part of my journey I've been through. And it really hit home for me when I've been spending more time at home because not only is my job not giving me as much hours, I'm doing online classes this semester. I was on summer break for a while, and I've just been spending time with my girlfriend, right? Because she works online. Like they were like, so what are you, who I was living with, they're like, what are you doing with your life? I was like, here's my plan. And they're like, yeah, I just see you. They meant it in a kind way. I don't think they meant it with malicious intent. That was really hard for me because I am no longer capable of doing what I was once able to do so easily. Walking. Right? And knowing it just happened. One day, my doctor was like, yeah, you could literally just, probably, well, it got worse because she said it can even get worse by me just doing this, right? That's so terrifying. And I've not been a mentally healthy person, I would argue, for like any of my life. So I've just been really down on myself. And it's just kind of having to remind myself that I'm still a valid human being worthy of love, even though I'm not as productive. Capitalism brain rot, right? We love it, right? I'm, and the people in my life have been overwhelmingly supportive. I'm not trying to diminish anyone, but I'm so grateful. But it's still, I myself have to deal with these feelings, right? It's the same as like when I get insecure about like my body weight, right? Like people are like, it's different. It's just part of who I am, and I just have to accept that, right? For me, I try to live by body neutrality. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. Like, this is my body. I'm fine with it. This is my body now. I just have to be fine with that. And it feels very much like I'm reliving having to learn how to deal with myself, because not only has it, I'm trying to like do this, but it's not working for me. It's very annoying. Also, I know this is probably not how you're supposed to make bracelets, but this is the tools I have to my disposal. So, oh my gosh, that was so graphic. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It feels like kind of like once again when I was learning to like teach myself to like appreciate myself, right? But now this is because of this. Not only am I insecure about that, but it's set me back on so many ways. This is like, what's the Spider-Man thing? Not a canon event, I guess. This is a life-altering event. I will be forever changed by this. This is not a plug, but it technically is a plug. I've been writing a poetry book. I'm a creative writing major, and I've been like it's about to do my experience. I've decided like once this is figured out, like that's when I'm gonna end it, because I feel like once I get out of this, if I get out of this, right? Like that's gonna be a new journey for me, right? I'm gonna be a different person. I'm not gonna be able to live the same way I am living now. That's scary, right? I It's scary. So what am I trying to say? What am I trying to say? I don't know. I'm just sharing my experience, bestie, and I hope you can take something from it. I wish I had some knowledge to bestow upon you, but I don't. Sitting here making a bracelet, dog sitting, talking to you about how miserable I am, right? Like this, I'm obviously not a person that you should be coming to for advice, but I think if you could take anything out of this, acknowledge your privilege, sit down, do this hard thing that I had to do. Sit down and be like, if I right now lost my ability to walk, what would I do? Would my lover still support me? Would my job support me? Would I be able to pay my bills? Would I be able to feed my cat, feed my dog? It's terrifying when you think about that. I am sorry for what that's gonna do to you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to bring that upon you. But I think once you've acknowledged that as a person, at least for me, it really opens up yourself. Damn. That sucks. Right? Be a dirty commie with me. That's what I'm saying. Be understanding and kind to the people around you. Every single moment you breathe and can walk, take that in. I miss it. I miss being 20 right now. Bestie, according to every movie I've ever watched, I'm supposed to be like getting drunk right now in like the corner of like a shitty college room, high off my mind, whatever. And here I'm dog sitting, making a bracelet, right? I am not who I wanted to be when I was this age, when I was younger. I am not what society expects of me. Every single medical professional I've been to has told me, you're too young to be dealing with this. Whenever I see a doctor's office, go in one, it's filled by people who are older. Here I am. I didn't do anything. I was just born with my spine curved. And so now I have to suffer the consequences. Do you got scoliosis, bestie? I would think about it. So I don't know. I didn't even finish the bracelet. This is not working for me. Be kind. I don't know. Do what makes you happy. Do acknowledge your privilege and have a good day. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you listening to me and taking in my experience. And I don't know who you are, so I don't know who I'm wishing this on, but I hope you have a good rest of your day. And I hope you are surrounded by love, support, and care, and continue to receive that love, support, and care. And if not, things will get better, hopefully. Or we'll burn up in like 3 years and then none of this matters. So, sorry to end it off with existential dread, but you know, that's reality. And it sucks. So, have a good day. I'm sorry. I'm not. Have a good one. Thanks for listening.